What?
I said I'm sorry.
No. It was cycling through which server it wanted to stream from. It looked like it picked one in Europe. It looked like it picked Paris, unless it just didn't cycle through them fast enough.
Look,
Oh, here,
I'm sorry. I have to keep carrying you in CS:GO.
Except you don't, because you're bad.
I
Yeah,
have.
but you don't, because you're bad.
I did today.
I'm the one who carries you, because you're bad.
I had that triple kill, which saved the entire game. And
Oh, the entire game, huh?
It saved the entire game.
Didn't you get it in like the second or third round?
No, I got it in round when it was 12-8, and I got the triple to make them eco.
Sure, bro. Sure.
So suck it.
Sure, bro. Sure, bro.
Look at this stupid Iron Fang pikeman. That looks stupid.
Well, that's because they're not painted. They're my black dragons, brah.
Is it the day I actually carried John in CS:GO?
No, yeah, that's the day that Izza decides all of a sudden that War Machine's better than 40k. That'll be that day. AKA, it's not today.
Wings, like we have flying cars. Cancer has been cured and eradicated off the planet.
Yeah, that'll be the day.
Jesus and Satan actually have gone like blow for blow with each other.
Jesus.
And you know what I mean? Like all these things that can never happen.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh.
So I have some fun data on the standings of the league right now.
Ooh, are you in first place?
I'm tied with Mason for first place in points. Yeah.
Mason's one of those underrated players.
I don't know why he would be underrated.
I mean, like for like War Machine.
Also, I mean his matchups. I guess both of our matchups were pretty easy too. Like he played Ike and J-Ro, both of whom are new to the game.
What about Thomas? Is Thomas third?
Thomas has a win and a loss, so he's in the middle of the pack.
Oh.
And then I played Andy and Mike Dunn, who are also Mike Dunn has like an army. He's had it for a long time. He just hasn't played War Machine in a while, and Andy's brand new. So we both had pretty easy matchups, or pretty easy opponents. And in third place is Roberto he has 10 points less than me and Mason.
It doesn't matter because this is a learning league,
yeah,
isn't it, John?
It really is just a fun league, basically.
Except for John's going to be entering a tournament this Saturday or next Saturday?
I am.
Is it this one?
It's this Saturday, yeah.
This Saturday, John's going in, and me and him talked. You know, he's actually going in with some competitive spirit.
Yeah, I got my lists right here. Yeah, let's see. Look at my sweet little Masters score sheet with my lists on it. Look at that.
So good.
Yeah.
Juicy goodness.
I was thinking about what objectives to bring, and I couldn't think of one that was actually really that good for the Vlad list, so I just went with Fuel, because if Beast don't I get charged for free by being near it, then great. And then for the Rust list, I went with the Bunker, because it gives a little protection from blast damage for some of my stealth solos while they're getting in position, like the Manhunters and stuff.
I like it. I'm digging it. I have not... We can go over my list for my tournament this weekend a little bit later on.
Hello, boys.
What's up, Titanfire?
So first, I think we should get reactions to the Super Bowl real quick.
Oh, Patriots! John's a little mudbutt, everybody, over the Patriots.
I don't care.
Winning. He was a little mudbutt. He had to go outside with the hose and clean off his butt because he was all muddy.
Okay, first off, all right, here. You want to hear what really happened? Here's what really happened.
And I ain't.
The real thing that happened is Steven is a bandwagoneer for winners. Like he's that way in CS:GO.
Hey, I am not a Patriots fan. But
you are a bandwagoneer of winners.
I am not a bandwagoneer of winners.
You are. That's why you like Fnatic, because they're winners. And now you're like, oh, Fnatic, they haven't won in a while. What have they done for me lately? Nothing. So they suck.
I still have Fnatic skins on my guns, so I'm still a Fnatic fan. However,
anyway,
I'm not a Patriots fan. The only reason I was rooting for the Patriots...
The only reason the Patriots won is because the Seahawks gave it to them.
Oh, good lord. John, I gamble on the Super Bowl.
Great.
So Of course, I'm going to root for the Patriots.
It was like a 50-50 shot in Vegas. So you could have, of course, gone for either team because it was a 50-50 shot. You're good for you for going with the Patriots because they won. So as a gambler, you won. Good.
Don't be salty. I can taste the salt over here, John.
I don't care. Neither of them are my teams either. I would have preferred the Patriots to lose, but they didn't. Oh well. Moving on. Because, and here's one thing I am kind of salty about though. They gave Tom Brady the MVP for the Super Bowl. He threw a couple touchdown passes.
4 touchdown passes.
2 interceptions. And he had 0 influence in the end on the outcome of the game.
37 of 52 for 300 yards, 4 TDs, 2 interceptions.
2 interceptions.
28 of 32 on underneath routes.
On underneath routes?
Drive with 9 minutes to go. I mean, look.
There was,
who do you give it to?
In the end, when the final play went out, he had 0 impact on the game. They won the game because of whoever intercepted that ball, not because of Tom Brady.
The MVP of that game should be the defensive line for the Patriots because for the first half, the Seahawks didn't even complete a pass until the second quarter.
I didn't say this one of the Seahawks should have the MVP. I said Tom Brady shouldn't have the MVP.
And Dota 2 is not even close to better than anything. How is Dota 2 better than... I mean, I think it's second place, barely beating out... I
don't know why we're talking about MOBAs when CSGO is clearly the best competitive video game out there.
I think it's the most balanced.
AKA best.
If that makes... I enjoy both League and CSGO, but man, I've got a real taste in my mouth for that CSGO headshots.
Oh man, you know it's some pretty solid viewing?
What?
Is the demo reviews I did of Steven playing CSGO.
You should do some more recent ones now.
I could. Maybe I'll do another one.
Like the game we just did, I went 12 and 15 with like 5 assists.
Yeah, like that's good or something. What was I? I was like 25 kills and like 12 deaths or something.
Oh, you were over 20. But you were only second on the team. We had that one kid who had like 30.
Yeah, that one kid that was like terrible for the first part of the game, and then all of a sudden he's like, all right, I guess I should start killing people now.
Don't even bring up CS:GO. I've sunk too many hours into that game. Plasma, what's your rank in CS:GO?
Yeah, Plasma, you should play with us.
Are you higher ranked than us? Are you like a
Are you like some
global elite? Yeah, he's probably like a secret pro. We're probably talking to like Get Right now. He's like, no, I'm okay.
Yeah, no big deal. You know, I'm whatever.
And then NIP Get Right shows up in our game.
Yeah, right.
I'm out. He's shooting people behind his head.
He doesn't even remember.
Lame.
Silver, gold, above that.
So John, for your black dragon Iron Fang pikeman,
yeah,
you going traditional colors with them? Or
well, they're gonna match this guy. This is a cob deck I've done. So they're basically traditional, except that the capes are gonna be purple, right? To tie them in with my purple. But yeah, black and gold and silver with the purple accent on there.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Really digging that, man. I'm really digging. I like purple on models too. I don't know why. For
I think it works because it's like even it's like a dark elf color scheme, right? Like.
So for everybody that doesn't know or just joining in, John and I both have tournaments this weekend. John's getting these guys painted up apparently because he needs two units of them.
Well, I don't need them to be painted, but I'm going to. Figured may as well, you know.
Why not, right?
Yeah.
I actually like John's pairing of lists. I actually think we actually talked for probably about an hour or so.
Yeah, about
just going through
stuff.
He didn't have
actually. It looks like Dave might come, and Paul's probably going to come too.
That's great. They should get the experience.
Yeah.
My first tournament, I took 3rd place. You never know what can happen. You should always go in thinking that you're going to win the tournament. A buddy of mine is going to Crucible with his... Did you
read this? My package of fresh old lead came in the post yesterday. 46 Rogue Trader Harlequins. That's fantastic.
It is Painting for his weekend list. A buddy of mine's going to Crucible with the mindset that he thinks it'll be a successful weekend if he wins one game. Now, granted, he's played a little bit longer than I have at it. He does research. He's not as competitive, but if you're going to go to a tournament, he's paying like $80 or something. With he's doing team tournament. You know what I mean? Like he did all the extra stuff.
Right.
Like I think your intention and your mindset going in should be, I'm going to win the whole thing. Especially the way it's set up.
This tournament is just like a faction coin tournament. That's it.
Hey, if nobody
it's a
plays
$5 entry or something.
Can you snag me the coin?
I don't know.
If nobody plays, will you snag me the coin?
I don't know if that's allowed. I don't know.
Well, if it is, I would love you forever.
Well, anyway.
Has the new Harlequin book come out? Do we know any more about that?
There's some stuff for it in the upcoming White Dwarf.
Okay.
The Sky Weavers.
Is it just a supplement, pretty much? Is it not going to be a full codex?
That's not a question that I know the answer to. I have honestly not been paying too much attention. I see, Facebook posts from Bowls about certain articles or whatever, like, oh, Harlequins, blah, blah, but I don't usually click on them.
Well, I'm really interested to know if anybody has any more information from the chat. Definitely love to hear it. Yeah. Mystics isn't here, man. Mystics again.
Mystics has been ducking us.
We're gonna have to have a little talk with him.
Yeah, he's got money for fake mustaches, but he can't he can't come watch or to hang out for our show. Like, what the heck?
It is a codex in the sense that it isn't a supplement for any codex. I was referring to it by the size of the amount of content in it. Is there enough Harlequin content to be considered its own codex, like Space Marines, or is it just going to be...
Well, Space Marines is bigger than every other codex. You're better off with going, like, something else. Eldar or whatever.
Or is it just something that...
Or is it just like, hey, here you have, like, a choice or two per slot, and that's it?
Which you can work into Dark Eldar. Because now I'm going to get really sad.
Jet bikes, a solitaire, the Harleys, and a transport.
It's shorter than a main army.
Gotcha.
Okay. That was my question. I'm still going to take a look into it. I mean, if there's enough content there, I may pick up like a 500-point force if they can have it, just for some small games. Because ever since I saw, even when I played Necrons and Orcs back in the day, 40k, I've always Harlequins have been my favorite model, ever. In GW's line.
Who are you going to get to paint your Harlequins for you? And don't say me, because I'm not doing it.
It's probably going to be you, John.
It's not going to be me. I'm not going to do it, so...
Oh, we're going to talk.
Nope.
I have a really bad joke that I can't say.
Okay.
I'm going to type it to you, John.
Okay, you type it to me. You're still typing.
There it is.
Yeah, no. I'm not. If I were to do them, they wouldn't even look good.
50-point jet bikes, so, but maybe they're like, maybe they're really good jet bikes. Okay, so, John, if I can, I'm going to take the floor here. I want to discuss my list for this weekend.
Sure, go for it.
I'm bringing Meat Mountain, Miserable Meat Mountain, just because everybody already knows it. I'm not really hiding it from anybody, kind of thing.
Right.
So I'm bringing that one, and it's really good against a bunch of matchups like Legion and Signar and stuff like that, which is prevalent in my meta. But I'm bringing kind of an off-the-wall. I don't want to say just for fun because I feel like it's a really good list. Does that make sense?
Okay, sure.
I'm bringing E-Magic, the caster you actually told me to
play. I challenge you to play.
Yeah, you challenged me to play.
Nice.
So it's Magic Ironhide, the World Ender, a Mauler, a Pirate Troll, and a Rune Bearer.
But not the... What's it called?
What?
Not the Mountain King? I wanted you to do a Mountain King.
No, not the Mountain King. A Fellcaller hero, full Fen Blades with UA, Krillstone with UA, 2 units of warders, and a min unit of burrowers. Magic Ironhide actually does really well with tons and tons of infantry, which I've got, 10 Weapon Master attacks. I have the full Fenblade unit with the Officer and Standard.
What are your 10 Weapon Master attacks?
The Warders.
Oh, the Warders, okay.
2 units of Warders. The Burrowers, because his feat says that every model under his control range immediately makes 1 melee or 1 ranged attack, ignoring rate of fire. So it's just a free attack wherever they are. So the Burrowers can come up, attack, and then get another free attack. At power 14 with their point blanks.
Yeah.
It's just I hit you in the face with this many attacks. Do something about it. You know what I mean? Can you hold on with this many attacks in your face? The Mauler is there. Good heavy war beast, 5 fury war beast, POW 15s normally. But I can put his Animus, which is +3 strength, throw it around. And Modric's no slouch in combat. He has his own form of beatback.
No, yeah, he's really good.
So I can get Modric Ironhide. He would become if I set up an assassination with my caster, I can make it a Mat 10, POW 19, reach magic weapons.
Why are you home wrecker?
Because someone in the chat said I was. That's why. Sorry, you're saying, Steven?
Oh, no, you're fine. So he can become a Mat 10, POW 19 with reach with his own form of beatback for assassinations. So I think, and I kind of also wanted a caster. I wanted to try out a caster that had that option to go in and kill the other caster, because I'm normally playing very squishy casters, very focused on spells and upkeeps and doing like one thing, but not really being able to withstand combat.
Right.
So I'm really excited to try it. And by no means am I saying, that cop-out where it's like, I'm just going to have fun, it's not a serious list. No, it's a serious list for me. I put a lot of work and effort into it, and I think it's going to do well. And if it doesn't work, it's on my list-building abilities and playing ability. Not just, I'm not going to use that cop-out where kids are like, oh, I'm not even trying. I am going with the intent to do well.
Right.
One thing I won't have is a Crix drop. So...
Get stoked.
Because I'm not bringing my super secret P Grim list.
Well, which one would you try and drop? What would you prefer to drop against Crix? The Madrak list or the or Meat Mountain?
It depends what the Crix player has. If I see P Scar in his 2 lists, I'm automatically just going, and I know he can drop P Scar against me. Because I will be able to. It's Divide and Conquer. I will know what he's dropped in his previous rounds. If I see P-Scar and it's able to be dropped...
Well, I know mine is also a thing where you have to play both lists.
Divide and Conquer.
Right.
I'll be using Modric Ironhide. Because, one, he has a higher model count with single wound infantry, so I really don't care how powerful you get. It's 1 wound. I tough it or I don't. I can deal back just as much damage if I get the alpha on you. And I have an assassination run.
Oh, I use XSplit. Is the only software I use. I mean, we're on Skype, but yeah, that's it. Sorry, keep going, Steven.
No, you're perfectly fine. Love answering questions from the chat. The Pyrotroll also gives a +2 strength buff. Unfortunately, it's an Animus as well. Basically, I just have a bunch of, and it's an AOE I can use as well to throw around. Basically, it's just a bunch of AoEs that,
Yeah.
I may drop the Pyrotroll for a Storm Troll. Haven't decided yet how I want that to work or what I want to do with it, because the Lightning is a really effective tool at clearing infantry. I can essentially wipe 4 models off the board in a single range attack.
Yep.
So, I'm always open. I'm always thinking about changing it. Those are the casters I have locked in. One thing that kind of goes along the lines of that is, John, tell them about the painting techniques going on.
It's nothing special right now. I'm just kind of applying silver or applying bulk gunmetal. That's about it right now. It's not anything too difficult.
So I'm going to pose a question to you, John.
Okay.
How important to be good at a game, to be really good at a tabletop game, do you think experience matters? Like a 4-year player to a 1-year player, or a 6-month player to a year and 6-month player?
I don't know. I really think that depends on the person.
That's such a cop out.
How is that a cop-out? It's true.
I personally think that experience has no bearing on how good you can be at the game.
Personally, like, people that are just, like, savants at it or whatever are gonna, be good at it. This is why it depends on the person. Because people that are gonna be good at it are just gonna be good at it. Because that's just, like, how they are, really. Like, I'll give you a great example. My friend Nate, he, he's just, like, some, like, video game savant for some reason, right? And actually, it's almost anything he does. He puts himself into it in a way that he usually starts out at a pretty high level and then just gets good really quick. Like when we started playing CS:GO, he was easily the best of us. I just played with him for the first time in like a year the other night, and he was still like kicking my butt because he just has so much natural talent at it in particular. And then ping pong, same thing. Volleyball, same thing. Ultimate frisbee, same thing. Like War Machine, like I had him playing. He was a reasonable, reasonable competition for me in like his first game ever. I mean, granted, I was helping him a little, but he just has a mind for it for just about anything in a StarCraft too. Diamond StarCraft player. He was like 1750 or 1800 ELO in League of Legends when he played that. Back when it was an ELO system as opposed to things. So, I don't know. Like, someone like Thomas is kind of the same way. Whereas other people, it might take them longer to develop their skill or get used to it, especially if it's, for instance, the first war game they've played. But they still have, I think, an ability to reach a similar skill ceiling as someone who's just naturally good at it from the start.
I completely agree on that. I do think, like, I mean, maybe Nate's an outlier.
Right.
For me, I'm like Nate, but with sports. Like, any sport you throw me into, I'm just good at it. Video games is actually a lot harder for me to... I didn't play video games a lot growing up. So, like, especially PC gaming. Like, I was never on the computer growing up. I didn't have a lot of typing, stuff like that. So it's really hard for me to adjust, like, trying to press, like, Control, Shift at the same time while moving and stuff. So I'm definitely not like Nate in that sense. Like, I get the concept of CSGO, that what's supposed to happen, but the mechanics behind it, I agree. Like, people like Nate just have that innate mechanical skill.
Yeah. I think that is right.
But I think Nate's an outlier. What I was talking more like is like the casual player. Okay, casual's a bad word. Let's say the average player.
Well, then, for an average player, I would say yes. Experience does have bearing. Because for an average player, they are, assuming everything average about them, average game sense, average, amount of games they get in per week, average everything. They're going to not be as, knowledgeable of the game situations and therefore able to adapt to them as someone who plays a lot more than them or just has a natural sense for it. But going pure average, I think experience does help. Like, that average player is going to reach a reasonable amount of skill in a reasonably average amount of time, but they're not just going to have it instantly. They might have glimmers of it, but they won't just have it.
I think once you hit the 6-month mark in a game, like let's just take Warhammer War Machine, tabletop gaming. I think once you hit that 6-month mark, let's say you play once a week, Okay, you get a couple games in once a week. You do moderate research. Like, I'm talking very average amount of time put into the hobby. I think. See, that's why I don't think experience matters at that point. I think in 6 months you've
Well,
seen enough.
I think reading and researching is one thing. Actually, experiencing is another. As far as it goes, like being able to read, like, oh, this is a really good list, and it does this, versus knowing how that list plays in every situation and what to do when this happens, what to do when that happens. From experience, I think the person with experience is much better off.
But going on your point of reading, if let's say that somebody says that this list is designed to do this, right? Well, now they already know in their heads what the list is designed to do.
Right. Okay.
I think,
well, let's. I'm going to stop you right there because there's certain factors like this list is designed to do this, and its whole point is to do X, and 92% of the time you're going to get these spells. Like, let's say we're talking Warhammer Fantasy, just because that's what's in my head right now.
okay.
Over 95% of the time, your level 4 will have Savage Beast of Kadan or whatever. No, not transformation. Savage Beast, the thing that gives all your characters extra attacks. And the whole point of the list is to cast that in a bubble. So then it comes down to, the experienced player is going to know what to do in that, 1% chance of time or whatever when they don't get that spell, because they magically didn't roll a single double or what have you, which they already did the math out, right? Yep. So that's a big difference. Like, what if that happens to that person in the first game, and they're like, oh, now what do I do? They can read all they want, but having experience with it is completely different.
So you think it's the adaptation portion of the game that requires the experience?
Yes.
It's easy when things are like the Joker said. When things are going according to plan, nobody freaks out.
Yeah, but as soon as something doesn't go according to plan, experience is your best friend. And without it, you will soon see, the good from the bad player in that when put in a situation where they have to adapt.
Well, I guess I have to agree with that, based on my own experience. I made a misplay and I didn't know how to adapt to it. And that's what I guess that's true. I guess if I had seen more times on the tabletop, I may have come across that and figured out just a way to,
mm-hmm.
instead of having it like the worst time and then in my head going, "Oh crap, what do I do?"
Right, and like it'd be smart to do that. Like, when you're playing your pickup games or whatever at your local game store, don't always take your good Crix drop list against Crix, because there's going to be divide and conquers and stuff where you get Crix and you can't use your Crix list. You have to try and play your other list against it, and you don't want to just assume it's an auto lost. You want to see, is there anything I can do, or what's my best option? Is it trying to sit on the scenario? Is it trying to go in for a kill? Is it 100%. Take out certain targets that are biggest threat to me? What do I do?
The reason I say the reason I ask is because I don't think, I'm trying to word this the right way. I'm going to use my last term experience as my example when I made the mistake.
Okay.
I was playing Runes of War. Runes of War was my first ever list that I ever, bought for Trollbloods. It's the list that I have played the most. I've dropped it. I can't actually physically tell you how many times I've dropped that list. And I made a mistake on that list. So I don't know if because I had a lot of experience on that list. Obviously that situation didn't come up, because I hadn't experienced that mistake before. But I guess it doesn't. To me, it doesn't matter how many times you play a list. Whether it's the first time or your 100th time with a list. And I guess this goes to me being a pre-planner and having a game plan going into everything. It just doesn't matter to me. Like, I can look at a different list And if you put a list in front of me, within 5 minutes, I can tell you what its purpose is, how to set things up, what we should be doing. And I feel like I can do it with Warhammer Fantasy, Warhammer 40k. If you give me a list, I feel like I'm really good at analyzing that list and what it's supposed to do. And putting it on the table and doing it to decent succession.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like I don't need all that experience. I mean, it's good to have. But that's why I feel I don't need it, because I can do that. I can look at a list and just discern. I want to do that.
Right. You want to do this, but what happens when the factors out of your control don't allow you to do that? Then what?
Warhammer Fantasy is actually a really good example of that, like the magic spell. Like Trollbloods, my whole list was... The way I played was literally me predicated on the statistics of getting Troll Guts.
You mean ogres?
Yeah, excuse me, ogres.
Right.
It was me getting the spell Troll Guts every game with a level 4 essentially.
Right.
By doubles or
by rolling a 5.
Yeah, whatever happenstance you have. And I got it like 90% of the time.
Yeah.
Luckily at the time, Warfang were just stupid broken, and it didn't really matter if I didn't get it. But when I had it, man, that list was like clockwork. Woo!
Yeah.
12-inch bubble of awesomeness.
What happens, again, when in the really low statistical chance when you just roll snake eyes or 1 and 2 or really low magic phases every time? You can't catch a break on your magic phases, then what?
I had 2 units of Warfang.
See, there you go. You do the smart thing as far as Warhammer usually goes, and take as much of the randomness out of it as you can, and you will likely have success.
No, 100%.
But like, what do you do when you in War Machine or whatever, when the statistics, the dice roll probabilities just don't work out for you?
IQQ.
Right. But is there a way to win without getting, without getting dice rolls, enough dice rolls?
It's true statement. I feel like the game's balanced, but I feel like in War Machine, like you set your lists up more so than 40k to do certain things. So let's say the dice aren't on your side. I feel it's a more of an uphill climb in War Machine to an opponent, to an opponent who's got his stuff running like clockwork and gears are rolling and stuff, as opposed to 40k where it can have a bad dice rolling game and still, I only need 1/6 on the penetration chart to blow it up.
That's not true at all, actually. But I think it's completely the opposite, actually.
That's my opinion, by the way.
Right. But if you're rolling that 6 on the penetration chart, you need at least an AP2 weapon now. You need 7 to blow things up. Anyway, I think you're completely the opposite. Like, in War Machine, you have ways of getting around the dice roll odds, whether that be...
I mean, if we're just purely talking on luck of the dice here, I think it's a lot harder to win in War Machine. Especially if your opponent's rolling better than you are, than it is to win in 40k.
I don't think so. I think there's a lot more ways to cheat the dice rolling system in War Machine than in 40k. In 40k, you just throw all your dice, right, and then whatever you get, you get. In War Machine, you can boost and set up synergies with your spells and.
I mean, you can boost in 40k too. You have spells and psychers and...
Yeah, but if you're not one of the psycher-heavy armies, then you're not getting spells off. If you're not Grey Knights or Demons, it may not even be worth bringing psychers. For the off chance that you get paired up against all people with way more dice than you. Granted, if you do get invisibility, that's great.
Can you hold up one of your work in progress guys to the camera?
There. It's very much. It has silver and some black gray on the black. That's it right now.
Real quick, way off topic. How do you do black on black painting? Let's say you use a black primer or a really dark primer. How do you get it to stand out to be just the black?
Edging. Yeah. I mean,
I'm out.
It's It's not really something that you can do. It's really more just making sure your other colors and stuff are kind of framing the black. So like when you look at this guy, right? Like it's black. It's black. And it's just like the edges are bright, and then the gold and the silver make the black look black. You know?
For the record, guys, my mind is like Dory. I will jump around from time to time. I normally go back. It's just if something hits me, I want to say it out loud, and just painting tutorial. So before I forgot it out there, get some painting tips in.
Single psychers are awesome in a world where, the enemy doesn't have a psyker, or they have low amounts of psychers as well. But other than that, I mean,
Okay, so I want to ask the chat here.
like, okay, here I'll give a quick example. I was building an IG list, and I had talked to Thomas about what his opinions on what IG brings to a competitive list these days is, and his words of advice were to bring basically as many like Leave and Rust tanks as you could behind an Aegis with camo netting, right? Bring like the engine seers and stuff to give them power of the machine spirit. And we were talking about the psychers, and it's like, well, yeah, the psychers are good. They're relatively cheap. Like IG can put out a pretty cheap 7 dice or so, 7 base dice, which isn't bad. But if you compare that to Grey Knights or Demons or something like that, something a lot more psycher heavy, you're never gonna be as well off as they are. So it's almost like, well, you can not rely on the dice rolls of the psychic phase and just spend those points on bringing more stuff to throw at the enemy, and just basically ignore the psychic phase and just whatever dice they give you on the dice roll, just hold those to try and get rid of the spell that you need to get rid of. Or you can invest in it and hope that you don't get screwed over by it. You didn't even hear what the troops' choices were. How do you know what they are? And you don't need Coatees and a Nate Inquisitor. There's really no point in it. That's a lot of points to just bubble wrap the tanks.
I gotta sign off a little early.
Oh, like right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll talk to you later, John. I'll talk to you later, man.
Yeah. See ya.
Peace.
Like it's mass strength 7 shooting, which is just about the best stuff you can do right now. Like, you bring bodies to get in the way, but you don't need to fully wrap your tanks, because you can set yourself up with the Aegis pretty well. Right, but you still need troops. You can't take Leman Russes as your troops. There's really not much progress. It's literally just black and silver. Really? Yeah, maybe on its own, but with an Aegis, it's a 3-up cover. That's pretty good. Three-up cover, front armor 14. Yes, I had Paskin and Punisher with a couple of Plasmacutioners. That was the HQ. You bring a Vendetta just to deal with the hard targets and other flyers, really. I mean, if it's really a truly competitive list, like going to a tournament with the hopes of winning, then you're going to bring a Knight. But I didn't put a Knight in because I didn't want to play with a Knight. most things don't shoot over the Aegis. If the Aegis is right in front of the Leman Rustus, they have to shoot over the Aegis. Knights are not hit and miss when they're winning just about every major tournament with just pure knightless. Adamantium Lance. Here's my 3 knights, and as long as we're close to each other, we have a 3-up invuln. I mean, you can only pack so much stuff into a list to get past a 3-up invuln and, you know, armor value 13 or 14 or whatever the heck they are. You wouldn't, but you're Dark Eldar scum, so you don't know. Like, I think the single knight might not get what you want for points. The old combo Winter. Winter? Is there someone named Winter? Well, depending on how long they've been building to kill knights, people have not been effective yet. Just as a thing. Unless they're Eldar, I guess. Eldar are still winning pretty much as knights. Woo Eldar. Right. But I think in Magic, it's probably reasonable that you can build to beat them. Like, what do you build to beat knights? How do you fit enough stuff in the same points value to beat them? Because, like, the cost effectiveness of them is the stupid part. Mm-hmm. Right, okay. A single knight tossed in may not get you where you need to go, but it certainly could. Like, it has just as good a chance as anything else to do the heavy lifting for you. And then the reason I would bring Cotias or the Nate Inquisitor also is because when I send something into, to block for my tanks, I want them to die. I want them to die so that my tanks can shoot them again. I don't want, I don't want the 50-man blob to, sit there forever and ever because of the nades and the stuff and the sheer number of bodies never running away. So then my tanks can't shoot at that thing that's close to me. Yeah, that's exactly what it's for. Yeah, exactly. But I want to charge them, or get in the way, have them charge me, and then sit there and get shot. No, I did not replace the pikes with brass rod, because I did not feel like gnawing my own leg off. So I'm perfectly ready for the rod or the stupid metal things to bend and be stupid, but whatever. Laziness up front is totally where it's at. Yeah, but you don't need a 50-man blob to block deep strikers or melt a range. You only need a unit at the right time. Because, if you aren't setting up right, you deserve to lose anyway, basically, is what it comes down to. Okay, only one more to do like this. Yeah, orders are good. But mass strength 3 shooting only deals with certain things. Mass strength 7 shooting deals with most things. Which is the purpose and point of the list is to put out a lot of strength 7 shooting. Which it does very well. So while the Blob Squad list is not bad, and it does its stuff, I don't know that it's any better or worse than this list. I don't think it is any better or worse than this list.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can post links. There, silver's done. Well, of course. Naturally, I have a unit of wyverns as well. How can I forget the wyverns? 65 points with all the stupid built in. Well, unless you're facing all knights, yeah. Then wyverns don't do much, do they? Look at that. Those are really cool. Oh, the flatulent guy riding a horse. That's funny. Nice. It's really sweet. Like, okay, here's the thing. I remember we played an apocalypse game. Okay? And it was IG Dark Eldar, IG Dark Eldar. I don't know. We poured like 3,000 points worth of shooting into a knight in the first turn, and it was just barely enough to kill that one knight. So I don't know. I don't know how like 30-man blobs with 3 las cannons is going to do it. And like the part about it is it. Whenever we did happen to pen or glance or whatever, the dude did not roll his 4 up. Just didn't roll it. And we poured like 3,000 points worth of shooting into it. There were Dark Lances, Manticore, Las Cannon teams, Dark Reapers with Guide. Like it wouldn't happen. So that may be a very extreme end. Well, it was first turn, so we didn't have Scourges at that point. But one night took like a table and a half's worth of shooting before going down. Anyway, start doing some tin for my gold. Okay, well, this was before the new Dark Eldar book. This was like months ago. So I didn't know what Scourges could do at that point, but I think it was Dave running him, and you know Dave, with his smart decisions, he just had him in reserves. Alright, so starting with some tin, gonna do all the gold here. Doing all these boring base coats, effectively. Sorry, that is not more interesting. Oh, Dave. Yeah, basically. Oh, Dave, indeed. No, stop it. Quite a few things on here. Let me called. This guy was in that arc saying how to do a pike. So ignoring the gigantic slop I made on the shield there. Yeah, that's about it. I think I'm gonna do parts of his little armor bit here in gold too, but it's about everything. Yeah, I think I like that. Cool. Oh boy. So this weekend is gonna be my first tournament ever. Kind of excited. I've played in a couple like local 40K tournaments. They were okay. They were reasonable fun, I suppose. And like the only major tournament I've ever done was when we did the Adepticon team tournament a couple years ago. Oh, I never did this little round thing. So stupid of me. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping, that it's gonna be a rocking good time. Hopefully do reasonably well as well. I think I should. But I'm not really too familiar with the meta as far as the store goes. I know the meta of like the studio, but that's very different. So anyone have tournament advice? What's that? I have not played casually at this shop before, no. $108 15mm 1.0 Spanish line infantry painted by this weekend. Wow, that's quite a few. At least they're small scale, I guess. Paul has. He played in the last one. He said it was good. Roberto, I believe, plays there casually on a regular basis. What is that? Oh, you need to find more groups of players. Yeah, you could look for clubs or just go to your if you have a local store, go there and ask. Usually the head guy there will know of the local happenings. I'm gonna make this guy's armor gold since he's like the leader guy. Oh, I'm not really so worried about what other people play. Like as far as my lists go, I'm pretty sure they're solid. I mean, I heard about like what people played there from Paul. And, like there was one guy who had the new Bradigus, which is still unknown, still feared because it's unknown. But one of my lists should deal with him pretty well if I happen to come up against it. And yeah, the other thing about it is like I have never done like a list chicken thing, so I don't know. I might find some YouTube videos about it, see if anyone has advice or generally some general rules or whatever to go for. Get playtesting in. Try list checking with other PT peers. Yeah, I've tried to. Like I try to get other people to do it, but then we never do it. I don't know why. We just never do it. it's gonna be hard to get like games that don't have to do with the league in right now, just because the league's kind of in full swing. That's what people want to do. Just kind of my own fault because I'm the one organizing that league. So yeah, well played by me. Get more reliable teammates. You're right. I should totally do that. It's going to work tomorrow. All right, everyone, you're fired for not helping me prepare for my tournament. How dare you all? Here, we'll show this guy here. He's pretty cool. I like him. He's the unit leader, the officer rather. So he's got lots of extra gold on like his chainmail. Come on, thing. You just had him. You just had him. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, we are in Utah. Is that anywhere near you? That was an excited nice. Or are you saying nice about the miniature? I don't know. Yeah, getting a webcam to focus does suck. I do have the little auto focus on. I could turn it to manual focus, which works better as far as long-term focus goes. But for short-term, I can usually get it to go relatively well. Sometimes it just doesn't like to cooperate. Oh, you're in Illinois. Well, You could probably, if anyone goes to like Adepticon, that's in Chicago, obviously. You might be able to challenge people at Adepticon, get a game in that way. Can't believe Steven bailed on us. Right? Like, I feel like his Skype name should be changed to this. QQ Balamus. Relatively speaking, yeah. It's only like 18 hours or so, right? It's not that bad. Maybe a little less than that. Okay. 4. 4 out of 12. Now it's in Chiberia. What's that? Where's that? So, well, I'll call a little under an hour because of the time that I was talking. Got 2 major steps done. As far as the number of these goes, I'm on pretty good pace to be able to have them finished in about a 3 to 4 hour time frame, so that's not too bad. But since Stephen bailed like a jerk, I'm gonna bail like a jerk as well. So thanks for tuning in, guys, for the past hour. It's been fun, and we'll catch you next time. And thanks for tuning in.